Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are starting a new chapter on LEED Green Associate exam focusing on material and resources. Without further delay, let's dive into the presentation. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Now let's move on to the presentation. Well, in this category, there are 2 prerequisites and 5 credits, and in total it holds 13 points. Now let's move on to the first credit in this category, that is storage and collection of recyclables. The intent is to reduce the waste that is generated by the building occupants and hauled to and disposed of in landfills. Now let's look on to the requirements. 1. Provide dedicated areas accessible to waste haulers and building occupants for the collection and storage of recyclable materials for the entire building. Then collection and storage areas may be separate location. Then recyclable material must include mixed paper, corrugated cardboard, glass, plastics and metals. And finally, take appropriate measure for the safe collection, storage and disposal of battery and mercury containing lamps and also for electronic waste. The next prerequisite in this category is construction and demolition waste management planning, and the intent of this prerequisite is to reduce construction and demolition waste disposed of in landfill and incineration facilities by recovering, reusing and recycling materials. To achieve this prerequisite, we need to develop and implement a construction and demolition waste management plan and also establish waste diversion goals for the project by identifying at least 5 material. It can be both structural and non-structural targeted for diversion, and also need to approximate a percentage of the overall project waste that these materials represent. And finally, specify whether this material will be separated or commingled and describe the diversion strategies planned for the project. Describe where the materials will be taken and how the recycling facilities will process this material. And also note that land clearing debris is not considered construction, demolition or renovation waste that can contribute to waste diversion. A related credit for the just previous prerequisite is construction and demolition waste management planning, and it can get up to 2 points, and the intent is to reduce construction and demolition waste disposed of in landfills and incineration facilities by recovering, reusing and recycling material. It's same as the prerequisite intent. There are 2 options for achieving this credit, and for option 1 there are 2 paths for achieving option 1. So option 1 is basically diversion, and it can get up to 1 to 2 points. So path 1 for option 1 is divert 50% and 3 material streams, and it can get 1 point. So for achieving path 1, we need to divert at least 50% of total construction and demolition material. Diverted material must include at least 3 material streams. And path 2 is divert 75% and 4 material streams, and it can get up to 2 points. So here we need to divert at least 75% of the total construction and demolition material, and diverted material must include at least 4 material streams. So for path 1 we need to divert 50%, and for path 2 75%, and also for path 1 there should be 3 material streams, and for path 2 at least 4 material streams required. Option 2 is reduction of total waste material, and it can get up to 2 points. So to achieve this option, Do not generate more than 2.5 pounds of construction waste per square foot, that is 12.2 kilograms of waste per square meter of the building's floor area. So please note that the numbers, it can come to your Green Associate exam. Now let's look on to the next credit in this category, that is Building Life Cycle Impact Reduction, and it can get up to 5 points, and the intent of this credit is to encourage adaptive reuse and optimize the environmental performance of products and materials. Well, we are talking about building life cycle impact reduction. We all know that building has a lot of impact on its environment. It can include material resources, water resources, and energy resources, and everything. Since we are talking about material and resources, we need to only consider this material part. It actually promote us to use or reuse the existing building materials for new construction. It can actually save the usage of virgin material, thus the impact a new building can cause can be reduced. Now let's look on to the requirement. Demonstrate reduced environmental effects during initial project decision making by reusing existing building resources or demonstrating a reduction in material use through life cycle assessment. Achieve one of the following options. Options are provided on the next page. Let's look on to that. So the first option is historic building reuse with 5 points. For that, maintain the existing building structure, envelope, and interior non-structural element of a historic building, or the building can be a contributing building in a historic district. It's eligible. And also note that the building or the historic district must be listed or eligible for listing in the local, state, or national register of history places. So option 2 is renovation of abandoned or blighted buildings with 5 points. For that, maintain at least 50% of the surface area of the existing building structure, enclosure, and interior structural element of the building that meet local criteria for abandoned or are considered blight. Up to 25% of the building surface area can be excluded from the credit calculation because it's an abandoned building, so there are chances of the building, a good percentage of the building being deteriorated or damaged. So option 3 is building and material reuse, and it can get up to 2 to 4 points. For that, reuse or salvage building material from off-site or on-site as a percentage of the surface area. And it can include structural element like floor, roof decking, then enclosure material like skin, framing, etc. and permanently installed interior element like wall, doors, floor coverings and ceiling system, etc. Also note that we need to exclude from the calculation window assemblies and any hazardous material that are remediated as part of the project. So this is the mentioned table showing points for reuse of building material. If 25% of completed project surface area reuse, under building design and construction except core and shell can get 2 points under this option, and for core and shell it can get 2 points. And if 50% of the completed project surface area is reused, for building design and construction except core and shell can get 3, and for core and shell also it can get 3 points. And for 75% for building design and construction except core and shell get 4, and for core and shell it get 5 points. This is how the table works. So the final option for achieving this credit is all building life cycle assessment, and it holds 3 points. For achieving this, New construction, including buildings or portion of building, need to conduct a life cycle assessment for the project structure and enclosure that demonstrate a minimum of 10% reduction compared with the baseline building for at least 3 of the 6 impact categories, which is mentioned on the next page. And also, data set must be compliant with ISO 14044. So these are the mentioned impact categories. We need to select at least 3 of the following impact categories for reduction, one of which must be global warming potential. Then after global warming potential, the impact categories include depletion of stratospheric ozone layer, acidification of land and water sources, eutrophication, formation of tropospheric ozone, and finally depletion of non-renewable energy resources. Also note that no impact category assessed as part of the life cycle assessment may increase by more than 5% compared with the baseline building. Please note that it should not increase by any chance 5% as compared with the baseline building. Well, that's the end of today's lecture. Tomorrow we will continue with the remaining credits in this category. Till then, bye.